Hello everyone, I'm Raven from Raven Comics, and in today's video we continue with the enemies among us series. This time, Batman will have to team up with Plastic Man, as the rest of the heroes are out to take him down. We begin with Superman, who was previously attacked by Kilowog. Kilowog tells him that if he can't hear the call, then he must die like the rest. Superman asks, "Hear what?" Kilowog is sure that he can feel it deep inside, much deeper than what humans call the subconscious. They are being driven to discover their true nature. Superman sees his reflection, and what he observes terrifies him. He knows this can't be possible. How can he be that thing? A dying planet, our only sun. Krypton will perish. But at least Kal-El has a chance to survive. Kilowog asks if he can see it. It's true, isn't it? When he arrived on this planet, he was nothing like what he is today. Superman rejects believing it. No, this can't be possible. Batman arrives and asks Superman what Kilowog is doing to him. Kilowog says he's merely showing him the truth about his alien nature, something that has always been inside him. All I've done is force them to face it. Batman asks what truth he's talking about. Superman declares that there will be no more questions. I'm tired of the way you look at me, as if I don't belong here. I'm tired of the fear in your eyes. Batman doesn't understand what he means. The Man of Steel grabs him by the throat, remembering how he attacked the Martian, all the times he risked his life for the people of this planet. And now, when he looks at him, he prefers to turn away. Kilowog tells him that every time they see one of them, they all feel fear. You must do it. Show them how powerful you are. Despite everything, Superman resists falling into it and throws Batman away. Get out of here. No. Kilowog calls him weak, saying he denies accepting what he has always known. The two of us are better than these humans, and those like them will no longer protect them. If you don't kill Batman, then I will. And that will only be the beginning. Superman is unsure of what's happening to him, but he won't kill him or anyone. No matter his problems with Batman, this fight is between you and me. Once they leave into space, Hal Jordan wakes up. He can't understand how Kilowog could have attacked Superman. He can't wait to bring this up the next time he lectures him about military discipline. The question for Jordan is, where did they go? Batman lost sight of their energy trail about 30 seconds ago. Kilowog is under the control of the same force that made him attack them. But to Jordan, it doesn't matter if he's under someone's control. He knows Kilowog. Taking him for a ride through the Milky Way won't stop him for long. Batman says that Superman did it to protect them, but given Superman's behavior, he isn't sure if Kilowog is his greatest concern. Later, in the Batcave, Batman asks Alfred to bring all of the League's security data on alien activity. If Clark is somewhere, I want to find him. These attacks are coordinated. They're part of a plan. If Bruce Wayne has any commitments today, he wants them canceled. Alfred already anticipated this and took the liberty of clearing his entire schedule. But something is off about Alfred. He's carrying a bit of whiskey in the Batcave. This strikes Bruce as odd since he doesn't drink in the Batcave. Alfred says it's for himself. However, this message is for the Bat. It was delivered by his friend Gordon on behalf of the police department. It's addressed to Batman. Apparently, someone is requesting his presence. That person's name? Lex Luthor. We cut to Luthor, who is speaking on the phone. If the bat signal doesn't work, try using your contacts in the Gotham City Police Department. Gordon is a pathetically honest old man, but surely there must be someone we can bribe. Batman appears behind Luthor and says he finds it hard to believe he ever became president. Luthor tells him never to underestimate the innate intelligence of this nation's voters. Also, knocking before entering is customary. Batman is here because Luthor's message said he knew something about the attacks. Luthor tells him to save his tough superhero speech for someone who actually cares. They both know Batman wouldn't be here unless his message had some level of credibility. The truth is, Luthor doesn't care about Superman, Batman, or the rest of the costume freaks running loose on this planet. But the nature of the threat they are facing surpasses his distaste for their kind. Now that I have your attention, here's something you need to see. This doesn't show up in LexCorp's annual reports, but his company invests significant sums in astronomy. Humans tend to worry only about their local problems, wars, epidemics, our dying ecosystem. But if he could ask the dinosaurs where the real threat is, they would point to the stars. Their end came when a rogue asteroid struck the Earth. This new threat may be even less merciful. So, getting straight to the point, can you see this celestial mass, Batman? It wasn't there a few weeks ago. It's the size of a small planet. It has an independent trajectory and is heading toward us. In all of this, everything I just told you is connected to the attacks you've suffered. Because Lex Luthor needs a little help, he's requested assistance from Mr. O'Brien. His criminal skills have proven quite useful. Luthor assumes Batman and Plastic Man know each other from one of their leagues or societies. To Plastic Man, this all seems crazy, but he has reviewed Luthor's information. That stain in space has been sending some very unpleasant messages. Luthor knows that the corrupted power rings, the release of alien prisoners, Superman's recent panic attack. Batman can't tell him this is just a coincidence. The Bat tells him, "You're right. It's unusual." But what's also unusual is Luthor caring about anyone other than himself. Lex admits true. But he must mention that self-preservation is a powerful incentive. So, then, what exactly do you want from Batman? Lex suspects that Superman has one of the heralds of these alien species. Once they have it in their possession, it can help them understand the nature of the approaching threat. And now that he is occupied, this is the perfect time to retrieve it. Later, we see Batman and Plastic Man on their way to the Fortress of Solitude. While on the plane, Plastic Man tells Batman that this whole Space Invaders thing is incredible. He thinks he spent about $100 in arcade tokens playing those video games back in the 80s. Besides, he believes Lex isn't such a bad person, considering his background. Batman tells him that Lex would kill them in an instant if he thought it would give him an advantage. He doesn't trust him any more than he trusts Plastic Man. Well, O'Brien isn't too happy about being called in for his criminal skills either. But now he has a son, and he would do anything to protect him, even this. A short time later, they arrive at the Fortress of Solitude. Batman hopes, for Plastic Man's son's sake, that Luthor has told him the truth. Back with Alfred, it is fascinating how the mind works. Like the detectives in my mystery novels, we always see connections between things. After learning about Superman and Kilowog's ascent to the skies, I can't help but recall an incident from a few years ago. During one of the League's countless emergencies, it was impossible to contact Superman. As usual, Batman took it upon himself to investigate the reasons. Apparently, the pace of modern life was enough to wear down even the Man of Steel's nerves, forcing him to seek solace in the depths of space. Later, he explained that in the solitude and silence of space, he could find peace. These words concerned Master Bruce. After all, one of the most effective forms of torture is isolation. Just hours of sensory deprivation can reduce the strongest man to a shadow of his former self. In days, it can drive you insane. According to Master Bruce, Superman was absent for a couple of weeks. Many have accused Batman of being on the verge of madness. If I may say so, Master Bruce is convinced that it is actually Superman who is figuratively walking a tightrope. And if he ever loses his balance, the entire world will be in danger. Meanwhile, at the Fortress of Solitude, Batman and Plastic Man have managed to break into the massive stronghold. But to their surprise, Starfire appears and attacks them. The humans must back away. This stone belongs to her. Plastic Man asks Batman if this is some kind of retro version of Starfire or if he's mistaken. Batman tells Plastic Man to move. If Superman captured an alien life form, he would have ensured it was securely contained. While investigating, they find a hatch that Batman doesn't recognize in the security system's database. And there's their problem. Plastic Man gets to work. He's the rubber and Batman's the glue. He'll slip in and find Superman's supposed ET. Then he'll unlock it and come out so they can exchange words of self-satisfaction. All this time, Starfire has been letting them work. As soon as he brings the stone, both of them will die, and they will never again ignore the stronger ones. Batman tells her this is the second time she's accused him of that, and it will be the last. Maybe he should be afraid of her, though he really isn't, because she isn't Starfire. She's just a version of her past. She hides behind her skirt, just like when she took the form of those creatures in Gotham City or the caveman from Metropolis. Starfire tells him she isn't hiding. She uses forms. She becomes something she could never truly be, someone powerful and feared. Batman tells her to scare him then, to show her true face. Suddenly, the vault explodes, and Starfire takes the full impact of the blast. Batman asks Plastic Man if he's okay. Do you find a life form? Plastic Man tells him that, actually, the Black Rock found him. Elsewhere in space, Kilowog is still battling Superman. Here, away from the humans babbling, the clarity of the message is even more glorious. For the last time, he asks Superman to listen. He is not human. He never was. Kal knows that now. He is not. From this moment on, Earth belongs to whoever has the power to conquer it. Kilowog asks Superman if they have spoken to him, if he finally understands. Superman says yes, everything he knows about himself, about Krypton. When the Kents found a ship, they were shocked by the appearance of the creature traveling inside it. Even at that moment, he could feel their terror and repulsion. But Kal-El needed them, so he adapted and took a human form. The ship was designed to protect him not only from the vastness of space, but also from the fears of those who would find him, so it erased their memories. Only when he was able to hide his true nature were they able to accept him. As time passed, he was indoctrinated with human ideals. He lived among them, protected them, fought endless battles to preserve their world. But now there is only one last war left to fight. Today, humans will see him for what he truly is. A furious Superman leaves the moon, heading straight for Earth. Now we return to the Fortress of Solitude. Plastic Man, who has recently escaped from the Phantom Zone, is being controlled by a diamond on his chest. O'Brien tells Batman that Luthor was right, the stone is power. The Bat tells him to resist. To Alfred, it was obvious that we were at a crossroads. When I say we, I mean everyone. Though I hate to use hyperbole, it seemed as if the fate of Earth was at stake. This situation has been a part of Master Wayne's life for many years. After encountering various Jokers and Riddlers and others of their kind, I have learned an absolute truth. No matter how bad things seem at one moment, they can always get worse. Often, in those darkest moments, true tragedy is revealed. After a brief conversation, Plastic Man leaves. Batman had been talking as if all of this were a bad thing, but he has no idea what's coming. Once Plastic Man is gone, Batman is shocked by what he sees. The reason for all of this is that Zook is here. Zook tells him to stay away. He doesn't need his help. Batman doesn't understand. He disappeared, and no one had seen him in years. Zook tells him that he went far away, and it was all because of Batman. Years ago, Zook always wanted to work with the Justice League. Instead, Batman kept rejecting him time and time again. He only wanted to be a hero, to be like the Bat. After so many insults, he got tired and left. He was at peace until he heard a call. Batman tells him that this call is the same force that made the Lantern's rings fail, the same force that later took over Superman. What he wants to know is, what is it? Suddenly, the Martian Manhunter arrives. John Johns tells him that it's a bell signaling the end of the human race. Zook was the first to hear it. As the call grew stronger, others heard it too. It starts with doubt, uncertainty. Then the mind opens to an unparalleled clarity. When he finally understood its call, he followed it, knowing Zook would be near. Batman tells him that this alien force, whatever it is, has also possessed him. Zook tells him that he is the world's greatest detective. He knew he would try to stop them. He warned other humans. That's why he came for him first, taking the forms of his enemies. Then he came for Superman when he tried to protect him. Batman tells him that means he took the forms he remembered, Phosphorus and Titano, the villains of his time. But now that Batman knows the truth, why not end this once and for all? The Martian Manhunter asks if that's what he really wants, right? It would spare him the dishonor of watching the human race be subjugated by superior beings. He would rather see Batman suffer as this apocalypse unfolds. Most of humanity will die in ignorance. They will never know the real reason. And Batman will die knowing he was unable to stop it. With those words, the Martian Manhunter leaves, just as he said. He obviously won't help him. Back with Alfred, he has flown to the Fortress of Solitude to retrieve Batman. Once they take off, Bruce Wayne tells him they're going after Lex Luthor. Alfred suspected that Master Bruce's journey was a one-way trip. So he took the initiative. He sent one of his prototypes to the North Pole and recruited the only person he could trust. A dedicated man like Master Bruce never allows himself a moment to think things through. He considers it a frivolous luxury and never lowers himself to consider it an option. But as we flew back to the United States, I could tell he was restless, troubled. Later, I would learn about the terrible threat looming over us. At that moment, I only sensed that his mind was elsewhere. Perhaps he was wondering if the anger of the creature called Zook was justified. It would not be surprising to think that a man like Batman suffers from the darkest emotions: remorse, doubt, guilt. The only way to find some peace is to stop this nightmare. A short time later, we arrive at LexCorp in the Gotham Division. Luthor receives a message. The latest satellite report indicates that several explosions have occurred in the fortress. But aside from that, before his assistant can continue, Luthor interrupts. He doesn't need explanations. He needs the rock. They need to send the first tactical team wearing armored suits. Out of nowhere, the conversation is interrupted. Plastic Man has arrived, and Luthor asks if he found the stone. O'Brien tells him yes, and in quite a way. Luthor had said he would use the Black Rock to protect Earth. That would help him save his son. He trusted Luthor so much that he even brought the rock back. But after thinking about it calmly for a moment, Lex Luthor can go to hell. He's keeping it. And what is Lex going to do about it? Well, to Plastic Man's surprise, Lex Luthor was already prepared for this situation. And yes, he is going to do something about it. His men arrive from behind Plastic Man and begin to attack him. A few months ago, Luthor had the opportunity to study the rock. He discovered that it is not a rock, it is actually an alien parasite. Like the rest of these beings, survival is everything. It will do anything to protect itself from an energy field. But if the host organism proves to be inadequate, the Black Rock will withdraw to save itself. Then it will belong to Luthor. He intends to negotiate with this alien threat from a position of power. All O'Brien knows how to do is be weak. Luthor has a lunch meeting with the board of directors, some business regarding stocks. His men need to call him when O'Brien stops screaming. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the United States, the streets are beginning to suffer. Someone is begging for something to get out of their head. Brute force is not enough. This is about instilling fear. The police arrive and order him to stop immediately. They tell him to put his hands where they can see them. If he wanted to, he could kill them all. Unfortunately, he can't. The four of them have lost their minds. They will kill everyone. After years of being a slave to his human side, it's time for them to meet the real Ultra, the multi-alien. Ultra begins to fight. The power of flight, the power of magnetism, super strength, it's all part of him. As he starts his rampage, in the distance, we see Supergirl. Kara realizes that the reports were correct. It really is Ultra in all his manic grandeur. While Supergirl observes all of this, the military is preparing to attack. They have no idea who this guy is, but they're about to find out if he's bulletproof. Just as they fire a rocket, Supergirl arrives from behind Ultra. Ultra doesn't understand. What does she want from them? Why did she attack them? Kara tells him that she didn't attack them. She just saved his hide. The file they have in the fortress doesn't do him justice. She assumes he heard it, the call. Ultra tells her that they all heard it. It's time for the aliens on this planet to take their rightful place. Kara tells him that will happen once they've finished off every human with a will to stop them. There's no time to stay here. They need to leave immediately. Meanwhile, at LexCorp, Dr. Angstrom tells Luthor that they are close to securing the rock, but he has to mention that O'Brien is stronger than he expected. Not to mention his elastic abilities, it won't take hours to contain him. Luthor expects it to be done quickly, that's why he's paying him. The Black Rock senses that the host organism is dying. The connections are breaking. As soon as it leaves his body, they need to capture it and kill O'Brien. That way, Luthor will be doing him a favor. The death of his father will teach his son how the world really works. Before Lex Luthor can proceed, Batman arrives and lands a hard punch. Lex asks how he got in. Batman tells him the guards were easy, and he has motivation. They don't. The Bat warns him. If Plastic Man dies, he has no idea what's coming for him. Something stops Batman. It looks like he's been attacked from behind. Ultra has arrived at LexCorp. That's because they need Lex Luthor alive. Batman asks if Ultra really thinks he can take him away. Supergirl is also here, and she tells Batman that Ultra came to this place to protect Luthor. They sent her to stop Batman. Batman tells her he doesn't care what's controlling her. No matter what she feels, she can resist it. Supergirl laughs and tells him, "Of course I can. The question is, why should I?" Batman tries to move against her, telling her this is their world now, and she must do this for her and for her cousin. As Batman keeps speaking, a small explosion suddenly erupts. Superman has arrived at LexCorp. The Man of Steel tells them that this will never be their world again. The Kents, Lois, Batman, they were just distractions. He has already heard the call. And now he must kill Batman. Because the Bat must die. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm TJ Prime, and see you in the next video.